What's up? It's Jobringus, your favorite inefficient reg. So, made some solid gains this month. Here I am training firemaking and prayer, scattering some ashes. I don't know if I've shown me training in this spot before. I've definitely shown a clip of me training it in the Grand Exchange. But I actually really like training it in Draenor. I think the scenery is a little nicer. And one of the pros is that if I need to switch to something AFK, I'm right here for some woodcutting. It's also like viable for me to, if I train in like Varaka or the Grand Exchange, I could go fishing as well. That's fine. But this is like truly right here, and so I've been training this for a couple levels. I've earned 3 fire lake making levels so far, and I'm about halfway to the next one. So I'm going to be doing this until I hit 90, and that should get me something like, I think it should get me 76 prayer. Actually, probably further. It might even give me 77 prayer. I forget the calculations. Actually, so now that I think about it, 77 sounds right. Still a decent bit of experience to go with fire making. Um, I finished up. Well, I'll actually stop for a little bit to show my bank. I've committed mentally and I guess financially to finishing off 80 prayer as my next goal, which I've talked about for probably like close to a year now. Just spending like a third of my bank's net worth. Got a lot of vile ashes, a couple big bones, and I'm working some GE orders to buy more big bones. Still a lot of my money tied up in these Addy bars, but I'll have enough money. This, of course, will give me 99 smithing, and I'll have enough money if I want to do about an hour's worth of rune two-handers. The other thing I finished up is 111 giant keys. I had maybe like 20 before this month, so that took a little while. And I actually came in under where I expected. My estimates had me like earning enough experience to actually go over level 90 strength, but I fell about 70k short, which is fine. I'll just knock out the rest when I actually start like using these keys. I'm not sure exactly when that'll be. I originally had thought that I wanted to, you know, go get a clue scroll because it's a guaranteed clue scroll drop from the boss and like do the clue scrolls every fight. And then I realized like I should probably learn how to, do a couple rounds, a couple kills per trip, especially like with max stats. Obor, you can do like as many as like 20 kills if you really know what you're doing. Um, I think that's what like Tanner can get. So for me, if I could get like, half that, I would be really happy. Even like 5 kills per trip would be like fine for me. And then Bryophyta, I don't know how many you can get per trip, but it's a real pain to get to her lair actually. Um, Not like the worst, but you gotta go through the sewers for like probably a full minute. So it's a bit of a hike. And so I realized like, oh, there's no way I'm leaving after every kill just to do like a clue. But again, I might sit on those until I really feel like grinding out a lot of clue scrolls anyway. Because I think the best method, maybe it's changed since, but as far as I'm concerned, the best method for clue scrolls is you just like kill goblins in Lumbridge, and I think you can do as many as like 20 clues an hour. It's pretty good if you have the optimal inventory, and that definitely got easier in some update like a couple months ago, where Charlie the Tramp is less um, specific about how you have to procure the items. Like instead of having to actually prepare some of the items you request, you just have to show him, which means you can like carry them in your inventory. And so if it wasn't like 20 clues an hour before, it probably is now. So that's still pretty like fast. Not worth wasting like a ton of my time just to like juice a couple more clues out of keys or whatever. But anyway, I spent most of this month doing that, grinding strength that way. So I got 3 strength levels. Um, Again, close to 4. Got a hit points level, and I've gotten 3 prayer levels. I think 2 of which have come from this. Well, maybe let's say like I'm halfway through level. Yeah, like 2 of which have come through this prayer or through this fire making, and like 1.5 or so, which came from hill giants. Actually, maybe it was even 2 levels, but I think I fell short of 73. I don't quite remember. It gets mixed up in my head. But anyway, I'm going to be doing this, lighting these logs and scattering ashes till 90 fire making. I've commented before about not using U logs because I think for the amount of time I save, um, I don't like, I don't know, maples are so close to just being free, and U's are like close to 1 GP per XP. I mean, it's the difference, even though U's give like 1.5 times XP or something, at least. Um, it's like, it just makes sense in my head to use maples. Um, I think the like numbers for how many hours I save, I have to value my time like really, really high for it to be worth it to use. So I'm not going to do that. And besides, it means that I get more like prayer done while fire making, so it's not like a complete loss. In the past, I'd used big bones instead of um, instead of vile ashes while scattering or while scatter fire making. But I've switched to vile ashes for the main reason that big bones have just gotten really expensive in the past few months. Um, when big bones were hovering around, let's call it like 150, um, then it's like you look at how much time I would save. I would be spending like way more money to like millions more GP to save like a couple hours of like scatter burying. Like I think the difference would be saving like, oh, actually I shouldn't say this because I don't remember if this was based on going to 90 or 99, but either way the point is that it's like I looked at it and I was like, oh man, that's like a kind of an absurd amount of money extra that I'd spend. But now it's like Vile Ashes and Big Bones are not that different in GP per XP. Big Bones have spiked over 300 several times in the past month, and Vile Ashes have been in the 5 to 600 range. So that's like pretty similar. So let's call it like 18 GP per XP for like Big Bones and like 22 for Vile Ashes. Just not that big of a difference. So it seems worth it for me to use Vile Ashes for this instead. And, going from 73-ish to 80 prayer, that's about a million XP, which works out to be about 20 million GP. So it's a big financial hit, but I just want to get it over with. And I think it depends how much energy I muster really for this fire making, how soon I'll get that to 90. But I mean, again, the prayer is the next on the docket, so probably early into the month. I don't know if I've said this already. It's currently the evening of, actually, it just ticked midnight for me. So it is May 31st, just started. Um, and I'll probably upload this video tomorrow morning or today morning, in a couple hours. So I think early next month, early June, I should get that 90 fire making. This is probably, let me see, something like 15 to 20 hours left. Yeah, like, maybe not even 15, like, maybe like 11. I don't actually know my like exact XP rate. I don't track it. Obviously, I'm not being like super sophisticated with the paths I'm moving, but this is really easy for me to do. It's, surprisingly not click intensive. I'm adding really just a small number of clicks, and the rhythm is like easy to keep up. So I would guess I probably burn something like 1100, maybe 1200 logs an hour. Um, at least 1,000. I'm sure I do over 1,000. And I think like, if your EHP is probably based on like 1,400, so I think I'm probably pulling off something close to like 1,200. Which means getting somewhere over 150k experience an hour, maybe like 160k fire making, 170. I don't know. Tough to say for sure. Again, I'm not like tracking it that carefully. Maybe I could and should, but I'm just not going to sweat it. What keeps me going more is less of tracking how many, how much XP per hour I'm getting, and just watching how I chip away at like the number of logs and number of vile ashes. When I started this, I had like 78,000 maple logs. Pretty sure. So it's coming a long way, and it was around 20,000 total logs that I was gonna need to get to 90. So yeah, about 2/3 of the way through that grind. I was it was like mid 82 before um, before this month. So 83 was a pretty quick ding. And then on the side, I've also earned a woodcutting level. I think that's pretty full level. I think I was like very low 82. I earned a fishing level somewhere in there, a little bit of AFKing. And I don't think I earned any other levels. Oh, I did get one smithing level. I had to turn a little bit of my Addy bars into money. So I got 98 smithing. Um, and and of course I got a hit points level just from combat, but that is what it is. Anyway, I want to spend a little time talking about my year's goal, which was to get base 90s, possibly leaving the exception of 90 prayer because of, like cash stack reasons. And I did the math, and it's going to take me basically about 600 hours the way I play. And that'll work out to something like 300 EHP, which should go to show you like how efficiently I play. That's why I'm your favorite inefficient reg. Um, I if I count prayer, then I think my estimate was something like 630. I was just kind of rounding skills off to the 10. But looking at like what I need out of 15 skills, I already have 90 plus in 3 of them. Strength is almost there. Strength is like 2 hours at flesh crawlers, hour and a half of something more focused. Um, and then fire making really won't take that long. Like I said, fire making something like 11 hours. But I was looking at what else I'm gonna need. Um, Attack and defense depends how I'm gonna train them. Probably I'm gonna AFK them at flesh crawlers. That's kind of the most likely method. There is some possibility that I actually train them a bit at Castle Wars. I'm not gonna do it with alts like the efficient way, but I might just like fight people. I do think it would be cool to someday get the gold decorative boots. And if it turns out that I can get like acceptable XP rates, that's not too bad. That's better than just like sitting there in AFK in Castle Wars. I don't wanna. I mean, the thing is, it's like if I get close to maxing this account, I don't think that that I'm realistically going to like AFK Castle Wars and get those boots. Maybe I will, but it really is so much. I think it's like, I want to say that the gold boots were like 400 tickets, and you average something like 5 tickets an hour, maybe 4 or 5 tickets an hour. It's a long time. If I can squeeze again good attack or defense or ranged XP out of it, then maybe that'll be like a fun little thing to do. Actually playing Castle Wars and trying. And if I play Castle Wars and try, then I'm more likely to win, and I'm more likely to get 2 tickets a game, or there might even be some condition under which you get 3 tickets a game. Whatever it is, I'm more likely to get tickets faster. So there's something to that. And um, it's not like worth it. I think if you're going for like 200 mils, then I think you get like an extra max hit from the gold boots, which does make a difference in like the really long term. But but just going for 99s, it's like not worth it. But again, it's sort of one of the most like coveted free to play items. So I think it would be pretty cool if I did get that. I have been using the level 1 like red blue boots, which I don't believe. I don't remember if they gave any strength bonus. Maybe they did give a little strength bonus. They give some defense bonus for sure. And um, they were only like 5 or 10 tickets, so that was very fast. But they're very ugly. I don't actually like them. So the gold ones, I don't think they look that ugly. I think they look all right, in fact. So, that's like a consideration in the back of my head. I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. Um, of course, if I AFK at flesh crawlers, I do like passively accumulate bone fragments, which it is like worth it for me. But I could live without that, I suppose. And again, I could always just like maybe train more range or do something at Castle Wars. It's a possibility. But with that all aside, like okay, I'm thinking I'm probably gonna be AFKing flesh crawlers for attack and defense, and that's close to like 100 hours each. It's a little under 3.4 mil experience to go from 80 to 90, and flesh crawlers are somewhere around like 35k an hour. I think if you're pretty diligent with strength potions and resetting the aggro, then it might be a little better than that, but I'm going to call it at like 35k an hour. So that's about 100 hours each for attack and defense. Strength is almost nothing. Hit points will get there passively. Range, if I did something like AFK Flesh Crawlers, that would be again about 100 hours. If I did something like Ogresses, it would be a little less, I think like 70 or 80 hours. I do like training Ogresses or training ranged Ogresses, and it would make some money, which is helpful. It would make more money than the bone fragments kind of amount to. At least I'm fairly certain. Yeah, actually, almost definitely. Bone fragments do not give all that much money. So that's probably what I'll do, and maybe I'll even like melee at ogresses. I think once you have over 80 defense, you actually tank the hits like pretty well. Um, and there is some like food in the lair that you can. I think there's like a raw tuna and like a bread, so you can heal yourself for sure. I'm not very good at prayer flicking. I could always try and learn it, but again, that's a possibility for sure. Prayer, if I did go from 80 to 90, um, well, it's going to take me a couple hours to go from 74 to 80, but not that many hours. If I did go from 80 to 90, that would take like an extra 30-ish hours. Rune crafting would take like over 100 hours, unless again I switched to body tiaras. Talismans have gotten a bit cheaper, not like affordable, but cheaper. They're more like 1,000 GP these days. So we'll see. But assuming I would do solo body runes, which is the plan, that's like 120 hours probably. It's definitely a while. Um, and it might even be like a little worse than that. Maybe a tiny bit better. I don't know. My like best hour is something like 29.5k. So I think my average hour is probably closer to like 27k. I definitely make some mistakes or have to stop for a little bit here or there. And then sometimes I just get ragged by PKers. Sometimes I have to completely stop. 90 magic is essentially going to be completely passive. Now, I mean, whenever I train more smithing, I'll get a little magic XP, but also, like, if I actually get to 90 rune crafting, the sheer amount of teleports should get me to 90 magic. So there's a lot of like magic XP that's going to be completely passive from just like teleporting for rune crafting. Um, and then a lot of the right side skills, right column skills are not so bad. Mining would still take a little bit. Mining is something like 70 hours or so. With like no tick manipulation in mining guild, I think it's somewhere around like 45 to 50k an hour. Probably something like 45k an hour. So around 70 hours will get me there. Smithing's almost 99. Fishing is probably like 60 hours. If I were to do eerie fishing, it would be more like low 30 hours, maybe 40 hours. I don't know exactly what the HP rate is around 80, but it should be like 90 plus K, I think, at this level. So fishing, like if I tick manipulate, it'd be really fast. And again, I might try that a little bit for fun. But if I just AFK it, it's about 60 hours. Fire making, like I said, about 10 hours, and then wood cutting, AFKing at willows, which is almost certainly what I'll do, unless forestry like improves XP rates. That's probably what I'll be doing when I just need something to train AFK. Um, that should be also around like 50 to 60 hours, probably closer to 60 hours. I don't know my exact XP rate for AFKing at willows, but I think it's pretty similar, like 45k or so. Um, I have a little bit of a head start relative to like mining and fishing. So you add that all up, and it ends up being a bit over 600 hours, and I've got 7 months to do it essentially. So that's right around like 30 weeks, which means if I played about like 20 hours a week, um, and I'm talking like manageable, easy hours, then I could meet my goals. That's not even, again, that's like 10 EHP a week. Um, so if I were to do something like, tick manipulated oaks or willows and eerie fishing and tick manipulated mining would be like probably 10-20% faster. The fishing would be practically twice as fast. Yeah, I think normal fishing is like 5 tick. So it would be like 80% faster. Um, Wood cutting would be like also a lot faster. I mean, 2 tick oaks is like 90k. Um, the setup's like a pain in the nuts, so I don't know if I'll ever do it. Um, but yeah, that means there's definitely like time for me to save if I wanted. Again, especially in the right hand skills. Like, I don't think there's any way that I'm or any chance that I'm like gonna do some real expensive high roller rune crafting training. Sometimes I do think about the fact like I have an old main used to be pay to play, and I haven't played it in several years. I don't even know, like probably 4 years or something, and it definitely had some money on it. I don't know how much. Sometimes I do think about like transferring that money over to Jobringus. That would go a long way in funding prayer, but I don't really want to do that yet. Maybe if I really like, I don't know, hate grinding for money, then I will. But again, it just hasn't been a problem thus far, so I won't do it. Anyways, I do think that probably I can actually like pull off, still reaching my like base 90s goal, or at least a near miss by the end of the year, which would be really cool. If I did that, that would be um, if I went for base 90s except for prayer, that I believe is 84 more total levels if I remember my count. So I'd be getting like kind of close to 1400 total level, honestly. It would be pretty cool. Like if I went for the kind of the minimum on that, then that should be 1361, I believe. Um, so 1400 would be in sight, and then I think I'd probably get an extra hit points level off that. And again, that's assuming I stop at 80 prayer, which I might or might not. Especially if I train range and ogresses, there might be a prayer level worth from like 10 range levels. Um, yeah, so I'm hoping to achieve it. I think I'm still on decent pace. I got 1275 total this month, and I think that the next 23 levels to 1300 total should be definitely achievable. I mean, again, these like 5 prayer levels are gonna, or 5 um, fire making levels are gonna whiz by. 6 prayer levels won't be too bad, and then that's already 11 levels down. And I think next what I'll do after the prayer is probably go for the 90 fishing. Yeah, I kind of want to just take it easy and do some fishing. But if I feel the urge to, do something focused, maybe I'll do mining. Maybe in fact I'll even do both and alternate a bit. They're not that close together, so I don't like hopping between them a ton. But it's something I could do, certainly. So, try and put in like an hour or two of mining when I get the chance, and if I don't feel like that, then just try and do some AFK fishing for a couple hours, and work towards those 90s. And I think that, a lot of this will get there sooner than it feels like. So I hope you guys enjoyed this update video, and I'll see you guys next time.